Hey friends, just imagine if you were taken to a place where clouds don't sit on mountain peaks, but secrets do, where the ground itself opens the door to the past, and where humans changed the map of civilization long before they even built temples. There are some places in the world that aren't just mysterious. They challenge our history, science, and beliefs, all three at once. Somewhere, a mountain peak looks like it belongs to another world. Somewhere, entire cities are hidden beneath the earth. And somewhere, trees in the jungle are bent in ways that make it seem like some invisible force twisted them. In today's video, we're going to explore 6 such mysterious places on Earth. Places where even scientists stand and say, "We don't know everything yet." So watch the video till the end, because the last place will force you to wonder, was our civilization really the first one? Imagine you're pushing through the dense jungles of South America, heading toward a mountain whose peak is completely flat, as if someone sliced the earth clean off. That's Mount Roraima, a mountain that makes you ask right away, how can nature do something like this? This mountain is believed to be hundreds of millions of years old and stayed isolated from the rest of the world for so long that even today, its summit has plants and creatures you won't find anywhere else on Earth, like it's a piece of another planet. Local indigenous people believe it's the dwelling place of the gods, and thick blankets of clouds often cover it, shifting in an instant from bright sunshine to dense fog. And that's where the fear begins, because visibility suddenly drops to zero, and you feel completely helpless. Explorers say that while walking here, you lose all sense of time, GPS stops working, and an eerie silence falls all around. Just think, if even Google Maps tells you recalculating, who are you gonna trust? Science says it's a tabletop mountain formed by erosion. But the real thrill comes when you see tiny waterfalls suddenly bursting out of the ground on the summit, like the mountain itself is alive. And the most unsettling question is this: if Mount Roraima has been cut off from the world for millions of years, could there ever have been some civilization or life up there whose traces are still hidden from our eyes? This very mountain inspired stories like Jules Verne's The Lost World. And even today, it reminds us that there are places on Earth that aren't just mysterious. They're way ahead of our understanding. And maybe that's why standing in front of Mount Roraima makes you realize for the first time that we're not the owners of this planet, just guests, coming down from the flat, mysterious summit of Mount Roraima. We now arrive at another spot in South America where the questions are as heavy as the mountains, the door to the gods, known in Peru as Hayu Marca. At first glance, it just looks like a huge door carved into solid rock, but the moment you stand in front of it, you feel this strange unease, as if it's not just a wall but the boundary to some other world. According to local legends, ancient priests performed special rituals here, and it's said that some people walked through this door and never came back. That's what makes it truly creepy. Scientists call it a rock formation, but the excitement kicks in when visitors report feeling strange vibrations, humming sounds, and sudden temperature changes. Imagine if there really was a door right in front of you with a sign saying, "Do not enter." Would you stop? Or would curiosity push you forward? History tells us the Incas considered it the gateway of the gods, where deities would come and go from this world. And that's where the line between human and divine gets blurry. The fear isn't about whether this door actually leads somewhere or not. The fear is that humans have been drawn for centuries to places where there are no answers, only questions, And when a door seems to open toward a world beyond our comprehension, the next question comes on its own. What if there are entire worlds hidden from our sight just because of doors like these? Moving on from that mysterious door to the gods, the questions just get deeper. Because now we're heading to a place where the mystery isn't up in the sky, but hidden deep underground. Turkey's Cappadocia, underground cities. From the outside, this area looks calm and ordinary, but the moment you descend below the ground, a whole different world opens up. Narrow tunnels, rooms carved from stone, kitchens, schools, churches, and ventilation shafts for air, all many levels down. It's believed that thousands of years ago, people hid here for months to escape enemies and attacks. And the creepiest part is that even today, large parts of these cities haven't been fully explored. Imagine it. Pitch darkness, dead silence, and only the sound of your own breathing echoing off the walls. Just think, if your flashlight suddenly died, would you scream first or try to find the way out? Scientists agree that this engineering was way ahead of its time, because creating a breathable environment at such depths without modern tools seems almost impossible. The thrill here comes from the fact that Cappadocia shows us humans can build entire civilizations not just above ground, but below it too. And the fear is about what kind of life those people must have lived, without seeing the sun for days. And when humans can create a whole world underground, the next question arises: what if nature sometimes does the same thing, and the earth opens itself up? Emerging from the dark tunnels of Cappadocia, you breathe a sigh of relief. But that relief doesn't last long, because the next stop takes us to a forest, where even the trees refuse to stand straight. Poland's the Crooked Forest. From the outside, these hundreds of trees look like some artist's weird imagination, suddenly bending at a 90-degree angle near the ground, and then straightening up higher, as if some invisible hand twisted them. The fear comes from the fact that none of the surrounding forests show anything like this, just these trees. And to this day, no one can say for sure why. Some people say it was a human technique to curve wood, others blame magnetic fields, and some call it paranormal. Imagine, if all the trees in your neighborhood suddenly bent like that, would you snap a photo or move out? The excitement here comes from pure curiosity, because nature often refuses to explain itself. And maybe the most unsettling thing is that these trees are all the same age, meaning something happened at one specific time that made them all the same. The Crooked Forest reminds us that sometimes the scariest thing isn't what breaks, but what straightens up in the wrong way. And now that even trees are acting strange, the question arises: what can the ground itself do? Leaving behind those twisted trees of the Crooked Forest, we arrive at a place where the ground doesn't just look strange, it's literally opening up more and more. Russia's Batagayka crater in the Siberia region, which locals call the gateway to the underworld. From above, it looks like a gigantic wound, and the terrifying part is that this wound keeps growing bigger every year, because the permafrost here is melting fast. As the ground cracks open, millions of years-old soil, trees, and sometimes remains of ancient animals start coming out, as if the earth itself is vomiting up its past. The excitement here is tied to archaeology, because scientists get clues about Earth's climate history from it. But the urgency comes from how this crater directly reminds us of climate change. It's not some future warning, but a reality happening right now. Imagine, if your street kept getting a little wider every year, would you get scared or just ignore it? Batagaika shows us that nature doesn't change slowly, but quietly. And when the ground starts breaking open to bring the past to the surface, the final question left is this: will humans learn anything from their history, or just repeat the same mistakes? Moving on from the opening earth of the Batagaika crater, we arrive at a place that flipped the entire book of human history upside down. Turkey's Göbekli Tepe, an ancient site that's about 12,000 years old, meaning it comes from before farming, pottery, or permanent homes even existed. Here stand massive T-shaped stone pillars, carved with intricate animal reliefs. And the most shocking thing is that when scientists dated it, they could hardly believe it themselves, because everything we'd understood so far was that farming came first, then villages formed, and only after that, temples. But Göbekli Tepe turns that whole sequence completely on its head. The fear and excitement hit at the same time here, because the question arises, when humans were still hunter-gatherers, how did they build something this complex and massive as a religious site, and all without metal tools? Just think about it. If tomorrow some archaeologist announced that your entire history textbook was wrong, would you laugh or freak out? That's the unease Göbekli Tepe gives us. And the most mysterious part is that shortly after building it, people deliberately buried it under dirt, as if someone hid it away on purpose for the future. The urgency comes from the fact that a huge portion of it is still underground today. And every new excavation forces us to wonder if maybe the beginning of human civilization was way older and way more complex than we ever imagined. And if that's true, then the question isn't just where we came from. The question is what we lost along the way. The places we've explored today weren't just mysterious. They left us with one big question. If so many secrets are still alive on our planet, just imagine how little we actually know right now. These places scare us, shock us, and remind us that humans are still pretty small in front of nature and history. If you enjoyed this journey, hit that like button, subscribe, and definitely share it with others. Because the more people who know, the more understanding we'll build. Drop a comment and tell me which of these places changed your thinking the most. See you on the next mysterious adventure.